still couldn't breathe. No matter how many nights that you lie wide awake to the sound of the rain. Where did you go? Where did you go? Where did you go? As days go by, the nights are
So, we just got back from 10 days in Chernobyl.
Ми щойно повернулися з 10-денного тріпу Чорнобиля.
And that film, I will show you a trailer tonight that we made. So that's something that, yeah, so I'll show you a trailer tonight that we made. And the person involved with that film, scientist and well-known on YouTube, BioNerd23.
Сьогодні ми покажемо вам трейлер фільму, який ми почали знімати в цій подорожі. І в цьому фільмі є з нами присутній в цьому залі науковець, який відомий під псевдонімом Pioneer23.
So, and then the other thing is, there's two people here tonight that were in the film that you're going to see tonight that we did in Chernobyl from last year, and that's Sasha and Dima.
Сьогодні в нас в залі двоє людей, які були минулого року з нами в подорожі, яка буде представлена в цьому фільмі. Це Саша і Діма.
Always better when people from film are with you to watch film.
Це завжди краще, коли люди з фільму вони присутні в залі.
And then there's going to there's going to be after party.
Сьогодні буде також автопаті.
We have barbecue, music, penthouse, huge space, drone, crazy stuff.
Барбекю, музика, ми будемо збиратися в великому лофті, в прекрасному місці і проводити час чудово.
So group ride to there, and those of you that don't want to join group ride, don't have bike, give address. Give the address.
Адреса Краснозв'язна 56, це щойно ще не відкрившися як новий коворкінг, а всі, хто на велосипедах, то запрошуємо взяти участь в груповій поїздці туди, всі разом.
And we'll also there play, we'll show you some clips, unedited, just raw footage clips from the trip that we just did, the 10-day trip we just did. We'll show that at the after party.
І ми також покажемо вам маленькі кусочки відео, які ми вже назнімали на останній подорожі цього року в Чорнобилі.
So anyway, I think that's one other thing, which is the Q&A. So I do a question and answer after this.
Також ми будемо спілкуватися з вами в режимі запитань-відповідей після фільму.
So, and actually one last thing, which is that everybody that has been involved with this project has taken days longer than they thought that they would. Unintentional. So I thank you, all for those of you that don't know who you are for getting involved in this huge project, and I thank you for waiting.
Дуже дякую всім, хто допомогли в зйомках цього прекрасного проекту, і знаю, скільки багато часу вони на це потратили, і дуже вдячний їм за це.
Alleycat veteran and videographer Lucas Brunelle is widely credited as having pioneered the art of filming Alleycat's races from the first-person perspective and sharing the footage online. Lucas, you began your bicycle career riding BMX bikes at 15 years old. Why have you changed BMX to a road bicycle?
So I did begin BMX when I was 15, and it was to kind of get away from the adults and skip school, and it's like ultimate freedom for a teenager to do BMX. But what happened was, this is the 80s, and I got a road bike, and I was suddenly faster than everybody else because I got the road bike. And first they thought I was nerd, they thought I was not misfit, whatever. But then they were like, wow, this road bike is faster than any of us. And so that's what got me hooked on road bikes, was the speed.
That's right. Alleycat riders do not wear conventional race numbers. Instead, spoke cards that are usually wedged between the spokes of the rear wheel. Spoke cards are often kept on the wheel by riders as a souvenir. Do you have such a tradition?
Oh yeah, I have hundreds of spoke cards. I actually collect spoke cards. You're talking to somebody who has created spoke cards, and there's a lot of famous graffiti artists, Futura, Fast Freddy, people that have created these spoke cards. Because a spoke card says a lot about a race, and it's a big tradition in messengers and even urban riders to have spoke cards of their famous Alleycats.
Racing Alleycats are not popular because insufficient publicity of such measures. Mostly of them know only a closed circle of local bicycle messengers or cyclists. Almost never such measures do not publicize as not covered in the media. Exactly how did you get the idea to shoot the Alleycat from the first-person perspective? And is this one of your ways of popularizing Alleycat?
I got the idea to film Alleycats from a friend of mine who, of all things, had a shoulder camera back in 2000 that he showed me the footage of. And I said, okay, I'm a messenger back then, I've been doing Alleycats forever, I gotta get the footage of an Alleycat, because it's sort of like, you've never been to an ocean, and surfed, touched the wave, suddenly you see video of that, and it's as if, or maybe even better than being there, because I can capture all those angles. And so I also, out of respect to messengers, like to legitimize, make Alleycats something that is more paid attention to, rewarded, and attracts more competition, makes it more fun. And also an Alleycat is the race with more variables than any other race. Where else are you going to find a race where you pass 1 million people in cars who you don't know?
Thank you. In 2012, you released the film Line of Sight, and in 2013, short film Road Sage. Last year, you visited Kiev and Chernobyl and shot film called Lucas Go to Chernobyl, which today you have presented personally. How did you get the idea to visit Ukraine and to make such a journey, and what impression did you have of the Ukrainian roads?
Well, my mom is 100% Ukrainian, and I always wanted to come here, and I love abandoned places, and I didn't realize the people here are so cool, but this is an amazing place, and I do love the roads here. Riding the roads here is a lot of fun. It's very variable, it's very fast, it's chaotic, so we like that. And so, that's how I kind of got the idea. And I never imagined I would explore Chernobyl in such depth the way that I did.
What was the emotion you felt during riding the streets of abandoned city Pripyat, and what things most remembered to you? Maybe it remained outside from the sense.
So Pripyat ride, we rode around Pripyat the last year, midday, almost. It was afternoon, I guess. Anyways, very dangerous, because you do that and you get caught, your trip is over, because militia, police are just going to take you in and God knows. So, anyways, riding around Pripyat was a lot of mixed emotions. It was, hey, the 80s, I remember when this happened, kind of a sad feeling, a longing, reaching. But then there was the
wow, this is beautiful, this is really cool, it's abandoned, you know, I'm psyched. And then those emotions are interrupted occasionally by terror, because you know you're near a control point, you know, that is guarded by a person, or that you took a wrong turn and you're not sure where you are, and that's terrifying, because you can get caught, you know. So riding on Pripyat is definitely heart racing.
This is your second visit to Ukraine. What places have you seen this time?
Well, the places, so this is my second time to Ukraine, and I haven't seen much different or new outside of Chernobyl, but we were in the exclusion zone for 10 days this time. And being in the exclusion zone for 10 days, I got to see so much. I got to ride abandoned roads for hours, roam around these buildings of all these different functions of a city for hours, go to, you know, the river to swim, go to the river and go fishing and catch fish and make stew, charge my stuff on solar, chill out, you know, up on the roof, but then almost get caught by tourists with telephoto lenses. Almost got caught, you know, I mean, there's so much that happens when you stay in a place for a little longer. And so, you know, my answer to, you know, what I saw new, did different, was really all in the exclusion zone this time.
Okay. This material is enough to make next film.
Sorry?
This material you have this time is enough to next film.
I have more than, I've got 3 times the amount of material this time to make a film. I have so much material, because 10 days versus less than a week. And also having BioNerd 23 film, she filmed a lot of stuff that I wouldn't have thought of, which is really cool. So I have a lot more footage now.
Okay. You have seen fixed gear around the world. What are the differences between Ukrainian and worldwide fixed scene?
Ukrainians are in the early stages of fixed gear. Most of the rest of the world is on later stages, so, you know, we are a little bit behind in the fixed gear movement. But, you know, that's something where, I mean, this country is a very strong identity, and, you know, it's sort of like being a New Yorker. You have a very strong identity being Ukrainian, and very individual style. And the style that these guys have, you know, fixed gear, you see it, it's really something they develop on their own. And the lines they take, you know, going narrow on stuff they maybe shouldn't, but going faster because it's more risky, that other cities wouldn't do. So it's really cool to see a city come up with its own ideas and not just do something because it's a fad, but because, hey, you know, they catch the bug of riding.
We know that you are an American with Ukrainian roots. Tell us more. Have you felt the connection with Ukraine also?
Yeah, so I live in America, and I'm not there often because of how much I travel, but I actually don't travel and stay at a place for as long as I've been here. I've been in Ukraine for weeks now. I never do that. You know, I go to 14 countries a year and I don't stay. Anyways, yes, my mom is 100% Ukrainian, and you know, I am still searching for some of my cousins and some people, you know, here. And it's an interesting phenomenon, because when you travel to a place where you are, you know, your ancestry is, it explains a lot, you know, because Ukrainians don't care as much what people think about so many other countries they go to. You go to Europe, you know, it's like the U.S. People are so conscious, you know, they want to act cool, they want to do things, you know, because of others. Here, you know, Ukrainians have that spirit. They just, you know, they care about, like, their friends, about good time, and about, you know, doing what they feel and saying what they feel like. And it explains a lot, being here, why I am the way that I am. The fact that I'm Ukrainian and I'm here. It's kind of cool.
You have proven yourself as a person without fear factor. Is there anything that you're afraid of? If so, what is it?
Needles?
Seriously?
Yeah.
Why?
I don't know. I like go to a jungle, with dudes carrying bales of cocaine on their backs and AKs and guns and but the hepatitis, the shots that I had to yellow fever to get the needles in my arm, I almost passed out. They had to like give me orange. So I'm it'd be needles.
It's funny. You have become an inspiration for many people, and who inspired you?
I mean, it's a lot of. I'd say a big thing is my parents, because my parents are. So first of all, my mom being Ukrainian, she doesn't care what people think. She says, do good, and follow your passion. Everything else will fall into place. So that's number one is them, because they're so individual and so free-spirited and live on their own accord. And then I guess the second thing is people that ride bikes and that I see deal with the struggle and deal with the hardships and deal with the challenges and then overcome that and live life on their own accord through the bike. And so a lot of these people that I'm around, every time I go to a city, I'm inspired by the riders. I don't like riding alone. I love making films with others, and they inspire me year after year. I've been doing this for 30 years, racing and filming. Who does a sport that long? Why? Because they're inspired by these guys.
And how did you find yourself in riding? How did you find yourself in riding?
In riding?
Yeah.
You mean road bike or fixed gear? Or?
Fixed gear.
Well, I mentioned about how I started road bike, because it's faster than BMX. But then, I find myself riding with these guys because I realized, when I rode road bike and I did sanctioned races, I did the races that, there's all the publicity and the people doing drugs and it's corrupt and it's political and there's lies, whatever. And the streets are blocked off. That's not racing. Real racing is on the streets. And that's where the real racing starts. And, it was one of these things where I was messengering the bike and I said, wow, the Alleycat is the most awesome thing ever. And that's how I found myself, racing and filming, was because I realized you can get around a city faster than even a helicopter and a bike.
Okay, and finally, share your further plans for the future. Small preview. What countries are you planning to visit and activities that you plan to spend? What activities you plan to organize or take part?
Sure. I'm going to North Korea next summer. Because, it's a place that is certainly a frontier, and I have a couple of people there that want me to come and ride with them. It's going to be difficult logistically and risky, but, so I am going to North Korea. And I also have a bunch of other, little countries I want to go to. Of course, I'm going to El Salvador because someone's doing a documentary on the gangs down there. The gangs actually ride bikes because it's so popular now. They ride fixed gear, so I'm going to do that. What else? There's other various, races in Europe and the usual circuit, that I'm doing for my sponsors, which is what it is. And so, and then, of course, I spend more time than I would like in front of a computer editing because, that's something about future plans is, well, I make films. I make a new film every year, sometimes more than one. And something like 50 hours of footage right now from this trip of 10 days in Chernobyl. I've got to go through, and I've got to collaborate with the editor to make another film.
So thank you.
Thank you. Great to be here.
To meet with you.
Yes, absolutely. Much delay, no party.
So how did you start?
Yeah, this is cool though that you guys are actually able to pull this off in this way. This is definitely creative.
It was a good day today.
Yes, it was. Definitely. I'm really glad you guys came because I do this to get these guys exposure, you know, and to make powerful films to get other people to ride.
All these guys, I came because of you.
And see,
that's why I thank you for that.
Well, see, and that's not, I never lose that. I know that no matter how many things I'm autographing or how many hours I'm staying late somewhere or the editing I'm doing or whatever it is, you know, I think I inspire more people to ride than anybody because of the type of films, the type of riding. You know, and that's my mission, is to get people to ride and to live on their own accord through the bicycle. And that's why I make films, is because the bicycle is the most awesome way to express freedom, mobility, and everything. So, you know, yeah, people are here because of me, people riding because of me, and, you know, they're influenced. And I've done my job and will continue to, you know, making these great films.
It's like a lifestyle.
It really is. It really is like a lifestyle. It's a different lifestyle than someone who drives a car, or somebody who walks, or somebody who does any other mode of transportation. You don't get the lifestyle you have with the bicycle. You don't, I mean, you know, I go to any city and I have all these friends worldwide. You know, like, you don't, your motorcycle race, you know, you don't really have that. You know, you can walk into any city and immediately, you know, you're just like this, people, and you're riding and you're, you know, going and staying in really cool places and doing stuff and just like have each other's backs. You know, you automatically know. I mean, car drivers, you know, who do that. I mean, nobody, you know, nobody is as close in terms of a global community as these riders are. And I experienced that in every country that I've been to, and I've been to over 60 countries.
And have you a driving license?
I do.
Yeah, seriously.
I actually have a driver's license.
And to use it?
Yeah, I do. I've been chased by police, and I've been, you know, it's been suspended, and I got it back, and I've gotten fines, and, you know, got to go to court, and I mean...
you have a problem with law?
Yeah, a big problem when I drive a car, because I drive the same way I ride. Mm-hmm. So I kind of so I kind of gave up on driving.
And problems with riding the bicycle, because riding on the bicycle, yeah?
Yeah, there's countries that give me problems with the way I ride, absolutely.
Can you tell something about this?
Yeah, I mean, you know,
just a little bit.
Absolutely. Oh, I mean, no problem. I have no, you know, problems about telling, you know, about this stuff. I mean, you know, when I was in Hong Kong, I was in a hurry to get to Cologne. And in Cologne, you know, I had to meet some people for a ride. So I had to ride. Anyway, I rode through the harbor tunnel, which nobody's ever done on a bike. But I did that, and then there were 6 police that met me at the end of the tunnel. But then they wanted to see the video footage from my camera, and they thought it was really cool. So I did that, you know, there. And then, of course, in Europe, not here, not in Eastern Europe, but in Europe, I get stopped, you know, for no lights, or for running red lights, or for, you know, stuff that I can't even, I don't know where people come up with these laws that I get stopped on. It's like, and sometimes I just keep going. I just, you know, let them chase me until they get tired. They're on the bike or whatever. And in their car, I'll go up along the way. But yeah, I mean, you know, I've got so much footage of getting stopped by police. I should put together a best cop moments. You know, and I still record them. The police will pull me over and turn off the camera, you know, and then I'll, okay, and then I put the camera like down here, and it's still pointed at them, you know, so do that, you know. It's, yeah, I've had all kinds of issues in different countries.
Sounds like a new film about the problems.
Yeah. Yeah.
Interesting.
Yeah, and you know, and I don't go out of my way intentionally to break the law, but it's just not safe to follow it a lot of the time when you're riding a bike. And it's also just something that, well, you know, I believe, I mean, I come from a long lineage in my family. I mean, breaking laws in my family is a tradition for generations. And so, you know, my father even said that in my feature film, about how our family has a tradition of breaking the laws. Or what? You know, we live on our own accord, and yes, the bicycle is the ultimate expression of that.
Can you go a little preview for your feature film?
Oh, for the future film for Chernobyl? Yeah, a preview?
Like, tell us something.
Yeah, so I'm going to do this film for Chernobyl, which is 50 hours of footage I got to go through, and 10 days that we were there. And the film is different this time because it features, you know, much higher radioactivity than in the past. I mean, we got exposed to very high radiation. And, you know, we did a lot more stuff at night, going out into, you know, the hospital basement and into other, you know, rivers and stuff like that. And, you know, we kind of settled into a lifestyle there of catching fish, eating apples, filtering the water and drinking it, you know, and kind of all under the auspices of BioNerd23, who's, you know, a scientist, and I trust her judgment. It's pretty exact. So, you know, this film is going to feature a lot more, I guess, you know, personality to it in terms of the characters that develop over, you know, 10 days. And more radiation, you know, river swimming, you know, stuff that we did not do or even think about before. And so there's that. You know, there's a thermal camera that I was able to use. And we got footage from that. We used a cloak so that we wouldn't get detected by their thermal cameras. We had night vision goggles, and then we had night vision or reflective spray and tape we put over ourselves so they couldn't see us with their night vision goggles as well. So we had a lot of technology on this trip that we used to evade militia and police. So that's something else that is going to be in this video. So there's going to be a lot in this new film that I couldn't get last time, but 10 days, I nailed it. Yeah.
So thank you for all expressions, emotions, and thank you for your film that you put your soul in it. Thank you.
No other way. You're welcome.
Yeah!